Welcome back to episode 11 of Trapani's Choice, your host Nick Trapani. And this is part 5 to my 6-part series, Most Influential Comedians. And today I'm going to be doing a very funny, very clever, and he is absolutely in everything, Bill Burr. Born William Frederick Burr. And look, where do you start with this guy? He has been in absolutely everything. He is known as the comedian for comedians. And if you haven't heard of Bill Burr, what you need to do is you need to go to Netflix now, to YouTube, everywhere, and just find everything on him. He is fantastic. He's such an intelligent person. So much so that just recently he, in his spare time, got his helicopter license, which he discussed in great lengths on his podcast, on different interviews and whatnot, reading out texts from the books that he had to study. Absolutely ridiculous. How did he even remember all that stuff, plus writing comedy, plus TV shows? The list goes on. You know, I really didn't know where to begin when starting to talk about Bill Burr. He's been an absolute hero of mine for years and years and years. And I'm only going to play a couple of clips of his today, but the list goes on of specials that he's done. I think he's done about 10 specials. 5 of them, I think, being hour specials. The ones prior to that being half an hour specials. But the most important thing for me with Bill Burr is his style. The rants are just amazing. I love that humor where a comedian just gets up on stage and just rants. It's, you can't beat a good rant. When someone's screaming and yelling, it gets the ratings. It's fantastic to watch someone do that and shit on something that everyone can find hilarious. And in the way that he does it, even if it's an offensive topic or it's a dark topic to talk about, the way with his observational humor actually makes it funny without it being offensive, if that makes sense. An offensive joke without it being offensive. Because he makes you go, oh, that's actually right. I do that. Or he does that. Or, I get what he's saying with that. And that's the best part about it. Because really, with his style of comedy, which is, it does vary from observational comedy to dark comedy to blue comedy to insults to sarcasm, you name it, it's in his genre. But I really don't think anyone would be offended because how clever he goes about it in making everyone feel as one while he's talking about those topics. And the first clip that I'm going to show you is, and it's hilarious. So I'm going to put a link at the top here. So click on this link if you want to watch the full video, and please do because it's fantastic. But it's a massive rant on giving shit to privileged white women. And I love the way that he goes on about this rant and everything. And one of the comments he makes is, he's going on about like, oh, I can't believe how bad you guys have got it. I can't believe it that, you're complaining. You're sitting here in the jacuzzi with me, and it's fantastic because really white people have had it so well. And the way that he portrays that, and by saying that, you're here with me. What are you talking about? What are you complaining about? And why are you bringing us all down? And it's fantastic. One, because at the time of that special when it came out, it was relevant. You know, there's a lot of movement at that time about white privilege and these types of things. And he does this brilliantly. As I said, it's a touchy subject that most comedians would get out and just be blatantly offensive about it. Whereas he does it so well that I'm sure even these feminist white women would be sitting there going, oh, he's actually right. It makes a bit of sense of what he's saying. And I just think that that's fantastic, the way that he can do that and get everyone, the whole crowd on his side is something that I admire. And you see him now laughing a lot in his specials, you know, laughing at his jokes and everything. But I don't think it's laughing at his jokes. To me, it's that he still just loves doing this so much that while he's there, he's just enjoying himself. And his laughter is so infectious as well. It's fantastic. But really, it's funny how someone's voice can capture you. You know, I love the rawness of his voice. I could listen to him talk on and on and on. There's something just about his voice. And that's with a lot of comedians as well. You'll notice that a lot of comedians that you really like, they've got a unique voice. And that's also what makes it funny. And if you've got two people doing the same joke, it's funnier because of that person's voice and the rawness and the harshness and their type of laugh. And that's really one big thing with Bill that I know that me and a couple of mates used to impersonate his voice, you know, his accent, his Boston accent. And, well, he was born in Massachusetts, but he studied in Boston and spent a fair bit of time there. Look, where do you start with his career? Because obviously stand-up is a major thing, and he's the co-founder of All Things Comedy. And having, 10 stand-up specials is just an absolute amazing feat. But it's not only that, he's a very good actor as well. And he's been in about 17 films and I think 16 TV shows, which one, F is for Family, is a TV show that he co-produces as well. And that's a hilarious animation show that he plays the father in it. And it's fantastic because it's really his humor that he does in his stand-up and his beliefs and everything all put into this one character that's amazing. So if you haven't seen F is for Family, go out, check it out on Netflix. They've just, I think they're up to their 4th season of that got released in June 2020, I'm pretty sure. But check out F is for Family, and you'll know what I mean by his voice. And they've used his voice on video games as well. He's just got a unique voice that makes it hilarious. And going back to talking about topics that are quite offensive and things like that, and really what I want to show you is how well he brings everyone onto his side. The next clip I'm going to suggest for you to watch, it's on homophobia. Already a very touchy subject. As soon as I say that, I guarantee you're thinking one thing, but when you watch this, you'll see how he does this so well, and the observational comedy and how well he makes you see something that when he puts it into an analogy, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that's right. He's right in what he's saying. So make sure that you check out this clip. Click on the link above and watch that video on his little bit on homophobia, because it's very hard for a comedian to start writing material like this because our minds go into some really fucked up places. But to be able to bring it back into it being relevant, to being on point, but also everyone being able to understand that without it being offensive to gays, to lesbians, to straight people, to everyone. He does it in a way, I believe, and this is my belief, and I'm sure some people might come out and say that that's wrong, and actually some bits are offensive. Don't get me wrong; they are touching on the line of being offensive, but it's not outrageously offensive like some of my previous comedians. The previous one, Anthony Jeselnik, as I said, he was offensive just for the sake of being offensive. And I watch a lot of comedians. I was watching a show the other night. It was a special, just on new comedians, basically doing open mic bits. And I see where they're coming from, and I was doing it a lot when I very first started writing jokes. And you might have a 5-minute set, and in that you've got a pedophile joke, a priest joke, all these things, and they're very offensive topics. It's because we want to push the limits straight away. But as I said, Bill does this in such a way that you are on his side from word go. Everyone, you can't not be on his side. Now, the next clip I want to talk about, I remember I was in Sydney at the time, watching this with a good friend of mine, Matez Campino, and I've mentioned him before on the podcast. He's definitely a person that stand-up means a lot to both of us, and we've both had long discussions about our dreams on becoming stand-up comedians and whatnot. But I remember I'd gone away for the weekend, staying at his place, and the Bill Burr special had come out on Netflix, and we were dying to watch it together. So we waited. We didn't watch it. We waited, and we put it on, and we're sitting there going, well, he's finally lost the plot. The topics that he was talking about were so outrageous and so fantastically funny that we were in hysterics. One thing about comedy is it's so good to watch it with someone else who enjoys comedy just as much as you do. Because a lot of the times, if I'm watching it on my own, I won't necessarily laugh out loud. I'll find it hilarious, but I won't laugh. Whereas when you're watching it with someone, oh my God, to have tears coming down your face, to be laughing, that's what this is all about. And in this next clip, oh my God, to me, just thinking over it now makes me laugh. And it's basically his solution to population control. And at the beginning, I love, and make sure if you want to watch it, click the link above. But if at the beginning where he says, if you know me, I talk about it a lot to do with, population control in my comedy because it's something I believe strongly about. And people start cheering. And he said, wait, before you keep cheering, hear me out because a lot of you are going to die. And it's not even, I'm not doing it justice. It's his voice, as I said. It's the perfect words that he uses when he does that just have you in hysterics. But definitely, if you haven't watched any of the other clips, watch that one because it is sensational. And still, as many times as I've watched it, I still get the same out of it as the first time. It is a longer bit, and he's talking about his plan is to kill people who are on cruise ships because if you go on a cruise ship, you deserve to die anyway because what type of person finds it fun to do that? But definitely go watch that clip. Now, there's one bit that's spoken about a lot. It's a famous gig that he did in Philadelphia. And what happened was it was a 3-hour special or something like that they were on the road with. And Philadelphia were renowned crowds for booing. And the first guy that got up was booed, whereas Bill was on 3 hours after that. And obviously they'd all booed. And he just went out there and just tore the crowd to shreds for 15 minutes. He didn't do one joke. He literally just picked the one thing that Philadelphia people were passionate about and ripped them to shreds and picked on that. And it is just fantastic. So you have to check out that clip. You can find it on YouTube. I'm sure someone's filmed it where you can check out that section. And it is fantastic. And as I've spoken about in a few other podcasts, it's very hard for a comedian to get up when the crowd aren't on your side, or if a joke, bombs, and it's like you've got to keep going. So to go out and do that, and to be able to rip the crowd to shreds and not care and just do it. He didn't want to go off stage. He just kept on doing it. So that just goes to his character. And as I've tried to show you in this short little podcast, which is very hard to contain it all in for Bill Burr, this is a man that doesn't stop working. He's also plays the drums, so going back, he's been in films. He has his own podcast that's been running for years and years and years. The Monday Morning with Bill Burr. Check that out. And so films, television, podcasting, comedy specials, you name it, this guy has done it. So if you haven't heard of him, really with this one, where have you been? Because this is someone that you need to know. And this is why Bill Burr is right up the top of my list of comedians that I aspire to have the same work ethic as what he has, to be non-stop, and to think that he still has a family, he has a wife, he has 2 children, and they're also a big part of his comedy act. And he loves joking about conspiracy theories, which I self-confessed love conspiracy theories. So make sure you check out all the clips that I've put on this video. Check out anything of Bill Burr, because I'm sure that there'll be parts of his comedy that you just love. So check it out. And make sure, guys, that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Trapani's Choice, and like the videos. Give us a comment. I always want to know what you think of the video. If you don't like it, that's okay. Tell me in the comment section what you didn't like about it. You can also find all my other material on Instagram at Trapani's Choice. And we also have a lot of unplugged sections there as well. You can also find my podcast on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. So, look, I hope you've enjoyed Bill Burr, guys, and I can't wait to get the next episode out of Ricky Gervais. My one, my only Ricky Gervais will be next. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been Trapani's Choice.